Alright guys, welcome to this page of the notes. We are now ready to begin talking about our second objective or learning target, which is writing equations of parallel or perpendicular lines. So let me quickly just sort of review from geometry for you the definition of a parallel or perpendicular line. Let me grab my highlighter real quick right here. What you should remember, lines are parallel if and only if they have the exact same slope. The slope of the first line must be equal to the slope of the second line. And hopefully you recognize or know that when we graph them, these lines will never intersect each other. Because they have the same slope, these lines will go parallel to each other to infinity without ever crossing. I apologize, my iPad flipped. There we go. They're never going to cross. All right, right here for perpendicular lines, what you should remember for perpendicular lines is that they are perpendicular if and only if their slopes are negative inverses. You may be more familiar with the term reciprocal. All it means is you're going to take the slope of the line you're given. You're going to make that slope negative and flip it. Make it negative and flip it. So here's what you got. If this is the slope of the line you're given, make it negative, flip it over, and you have your perpendicular line. Remember, perpendicular lines are going to form right angles. They're going to be 90 degrees to each other. And just a quick application for you, in physics, we're going to call these normal lines. It's just a fancy physics term for perpendicular, generally when we're speaking about forces. All right, so when we're talking about forces, rather than calling them perpendicular forces, we're going to call it the normal force. It just means it's perpendicular. All right, so you may see this in physics. All right, a couple of things, last things to point out to you here just as examples. Please notice right down here, I have parallel lines, and what you should recognize from their equations is this little bit right here. Parallel lines must have the exact same slope. And I do. This first equation has a slope of 2. The second equation has a slope of 2. Same slope, parallel lines, they'll never cross. For perpendicular lines, the slopes need to be negative inverses. My first line, this guy right here, has a slope of a positive 3. Well, the perpendicular line needs to be the negative reciprocal. So I would take a positive 3, I'd make it negative, that's a minus 3, and I'd flip it. The 3 goes on the bottom, and that's exactly what I've got. The next line, the perpendicular line, which is 90 degrees, has a slope of negative 1/3. Head on over to the next page. We're going to try some example problems doing parallel and perpendicular lines, and I'll meet you there.